What's going down, nerds? My name is Jeremy Akers, Jeremy Nathaniel Akers, to be all types of precise about it. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about my absolute favorite liberating structure, wise crowds. I know we just went through this, and my cats are freaking out and jumping into boxes behind me. But I want to talk to you about a very specific variation that I've been wildly enthusiastic about for like the last 2 years, and that continues to provide ridiculous amounts of value for me and those around me. And that is this variation I like to call the Wise Crowds Design Call, where we combine the pattern of wise crowds into the liberating structure design storyboards. It works just like regular wise crowds, but with a specific focus. So wise crowds, break it down one more time. We do a give and get help pattern where a client asks for advice. Some consultants offer clarifying questions the client responds to in just a few minutes. And then the client sort of leaves the conversation while the consultants have a conversation about the client's help request. And then the client comes back and offers a takeaway, right? So we run that just like normal, right? But what we do in particular is a little piece of additional emphasis. And that we're going to jump over to this Google Doc. And I'll leave a link to this doc if you want it. It's very straightforward. But when it comes to the clarifying question, we have noticed that the things that really need to be clear is like some description of place or context, some description of purpose or outcomes, some description about participants and roles, and then like some description of your particulars, your parameters, your specific logistics for your context. This can be stuff like, how long have you got? How often are you going to meet? Are you going to be on Zoom? Are you going to be face to face? That stuff that makes a big difference that, obviously changes the design completely. What we're doing in the Wise Crowds design call is we're intaking actually help requests about how to apply liberating structures. Maybe I should have started with that. And what we're really focusing our attention on in the consultation are these questions right down yonder. That's less than helpful. And which is, what structures come to your mind to help address this client help request? So we're using the Liberating Structures Toolkit, the structure that is Wise Crowds, to actually ask ourselves the question, what additional liberating structures might this person want to use in response to their situation? And then we're building on that sort of spitballing of which structures with this additional question, fuck my life, which is how might we string those structures together, right? So focusing our attention on what liberating structures might this person use, and how might we string those structures together into, a baby design storyboard, right? Where we put some information about how long these things might take, what the structure is, why we want to use it, some link to any additional resources, and any additional checks that we might want to need to sort of focus and direct people's attention, especially around invitations, since those can be quite tricky. And so I've been hosting a regular call on Mondays at 4 o'clock Central European time, where we've been doing this Wise Crowds consultation, this design call thing, every single week for the last 2+ years, since 2021 we started. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing a whole bunch of them. You can see there's a whole bunch of videos of these things on the YouTube channel here. Why do I point at this? Like I said, this has been an extraordinarily practical application of liberating structures for practical application. When we compare this to a lot of the other stuff that we see that I see in the global community of practice. The Wise Crowds design call has a type of tangible value that helps people accelerate their practice and apply structures faster in context than they would any other way. I mean, basically, if you show up to this call and tell me your situation, I'm going to give you a personal recommendation on try these structures and put them in this order, which is in 15, 30 minutes, I can give you enough information to dive down a rabbit hole for, the next 2 days to prepare a high quality workshop, training, strategy session, whatever, that can really skip people forward in the learning journey. The point behind saying this is not, oh, how great is Jeremy that he can do this thing, but to actually encourage you and everyone who sees this to use this pattern in the similar way. Find a time that works for you and your local context and host a Wise Crowds design call so that you guys can support one another in your learning journey. It's been a very insightful forum for me to get to practice design with other practitioners. It's been a really interesting place to meet people who are really new to the practice and accelerate their learning forward. And I think even from the position of a spectator, somebody who's not super familiar with liberating structures, to get up close and personal with the design process, which is normally very hard. Like, it's very hard to get access to enough knowledge to be able to do that, to sort of see what it looks like and what liberating structures can make possible, when you're early in the journey, has also this opportunity to be very inspirational. So this pattern is, like I said, the Wise Crowds design call. It makes use of both Wise Crowds as well as the design storyboards to focus attention on how do we actually apply liberating structures into contexts that matter for us. If you are so inspired, please grab it, run with it, and host it. If you want to give me a shout out, buy me a coffee, some shit like that. Oh, I hate saying this shit. Doesn't matter. Please use this pattern and serve your community. My name's Jeremy. This has been a Wise Crowds production. Thanks for your time, attention, and energy. Go get 'em, killers.